Alright, good morning everyone. Name's ArctheLadder, and this is Wild Guns Reloaded. This is my first marathon, so hopefully everything goes smoothly. This is a gallery shooter by Natsume Atari. Wild Guns. I played Doris, and she is a new character to this game. So I'll be starting in now. This is a remake of a Super Nintendo game. It was made by 3 people. The faster you kill things, the faster you go. You'll notice that the timer in the lower portion of the screen counts down every time I kill something. Now, what makes this game pretty unique for Doris is that she's not at the mercy of RNG. So, typically weapon pickups aren't a factor for her, though she does have Vulcan meter. Not too much to say right now. I'm using a technique called dash canceling, which makes her the best character in the game, because she's the best at everything. Typically, you're supposed to move and charge slowly, but Doris doesn't have to obey rules like that. So what you're going to see is a lot of quick kills and basically me savaging the game. There's really not much else to say other than that. So hopefully things go well. There's a minor amount of RNG, but the game is so fast-paced and you're in such control as a runner that it's pretty fun. Here we have Metal Tom. We're going to see him briefly throughout the game. This is a science fantasy shooter, so I'll just try to go over the flavor as I go. We're fighting the forces of Kid, a petty criminal that has basically done something to gain the ire of every single playable character. In Doris's case, she's a friend of the main protagonist, Clint, who I am not playing as. So the rate at which I'm firing with this dash cancel is going to determine how successful my run is. Since this is a marathon, I'm going to ignore picking up items like this normally slows you down at the end stage timer, but I'm not going to be too concerned about avoiding them. So, as you can see, I'm killing things pretty fast, so it's going to be a little harder to explain the tech. This is Yojimbo. He's a recurring enemy. Normally you would use a bomb, but I'm just going to kill him really fast. So, this is our first boss, Kingbot. I may have to safety bomb depending on what he does, because it's a little random. I want him to stay in place, but we'll see what he does. Wow, I got really lucky. He didn't move at all. That was Kingbot, everyone. Very brief appearance. Thank you, Kingbot. So, now that I have a breather, the faster you kill things, the faster that timer will run, but the timer varies based on basically the segment. You have 2 segments in each level and then 1 boss. And the way this game is routed, we want certain bosses to have more HP than others, because their HP totals would be low no matter how high they go. But this boss here in Underground has the highest HP if he goes last, so we're going to take care of him first. The little dithering effect, if you like retro graphics. Normally this would be a hassle, but for a speed run, we memorize where everything is. So it really only comes into play during scoring. And we're not playing for score. So a little background on me in the game. I am currently the only one I know of other than maybe one other person that plays the Doris category. But it's a really fun category. I've also have most of the top times in the other character categories, but I find them a bit stressful. And for hard mode, the current best runner I'd say is Aihu for those other characters other than Bullet the dog. So, as we're going here, this level is themed. I guess I'll just talk about that. This level is themed around, I guess, haunted, like a sort of ghost attraction. But it's actually just one of Kid's smelteries where he makes all his little robot weapons. And I guess he just tries to scare off people. Here we're going to run into a series of zombie droids. If you don't kill them quickly, they get back up. So I can show that here because it doesn't really slow me down. So he gets back up. But for Doris, again, that's not really going to matter because she can kill them pretty quickly. This category is any percent, so coming up is the reason why. We're going to be doing a glitch here that involves bombing these serpent droids. Now, what happens is that the individual coils on the serpent can't normally be killed. But if you get a lot on screen, those purple segments count as individual enemies. So as you saw, the timer just went down dramatically. That's the glitch. So what was 70 seconds is now not. This is also why we bomb things. To basically make things go faster, kill enemies that would otherwise be a hassle. I used a bomb there on the Jimbo because he, in his brief appearance, would be way more annoying to kill otherwise. Oh good, I got the good pattern. The boss didn't clap me really bad. So that was Minotaur. But there's not much to say about him. He's just a real pain if he has more HP than that. So the next level is the mine. Here we have a cool little effect where you have things in the foreground, there's 2 layers of the foreground, and in the background you have these tiny little sniper guys running in. So throughout the run I'm going to try to prioritize certain enemies based on how quickly they appear and how fast I can kill them. Mine cart guy, he can make things a little tricky. But so for these airships, they're not as important to me as the smaller targets and the mine carts. I just have to make sure that I don't stand in such a spot where I can get shot. But because I can dash cancel, things go at a pretty rapid pace for Doris. Another bomb. So this is another appearance of Metal Tom. Goodbye, Metal Tom. So fun fact about this game is that it was remade by a team of 3 people, which is pretty impressive. All the new stages, because I'm on retro audio, the main composer, Hiroyuki Watsuki, I guess he simulated the Super Nintendo sound hardware, and he also remade most of the songs from scratch, just based by his ear. So here we have the next section. It's so fast-paced, so doing your own commentary while also playing a character with a lot of technical skill required is kind of stressful. But here we have Kid soldiers. Kid is the main boss of the game, and then these minecart dancers. I missed one, but it doesn't matter there. Usually I end up with 1 second on the timer. That's the generator. Goodbye, generator. So coming up here is the giant crab. Its name actually is Giant Crab. 1, 2, 3. So we want to stun lock this crab. And bomb it. Because I wanted to give an example here. You can normally kill it before it covers its face. So what I'm showing you there is that this run can go badly if if you let it cover its face without dealing enough damage. But because we're Doris, yeah, we're gonna deal enough damage. So I'm running this game on the Switch, and I'm using a Super Nintendo controller to just slide my hand. But you can buy this game on PC, PS4, pretty much every major platform. I believe it's on Xbox. So this is the Airship stage. Basically every enemy here is going to die a horrible death. It's actually pretty dark. But on this stage, essentially, there's not much to be said. I'm just gonna be blowing up a lot of stuff. This enemy is pretty unique though, because the game doesn't count the two riders as dying. So as a runner, you want to kill the two people occupying the hot air balloon, and then destroy the balloon. It's one of the few instances of an enemy that works that way. They're very unique. Coming up here is another enemy wave. It's gonna kind of go crazy. Woo! So the boss here is pretty fun. But we want to build meter prior to running into it. To build that meter in the lower part of next to the timer, I have to destroy bullets. So I'm gonna build a little meter beforehand. Not used to so much downtime in a level. Alright, here we go. Kill these guys. So normally the way Doris is intended to be played is that you throw grenades one at a time, and you charge to build multiplier and attack power. But what the dash cancel effectively lets us do is ignore that. So even the most powerful enemies don't really stand much of a chance. For her grenade's attack power, the surface area of an enemy matters. So how much available area there is to hit. So smaller targets are a little inconvenient, but not so bad that it would cause us that much trouble. Also, because of the blast radius of her weapon, you can hit things that are normally out of reach for most characters. Took a death there, but that's because I want to do this. There we go. So for this boss, that's the surface area thing. Taking the death there repositions me, but you don't have to do it. Alright, so for this boss right here, we need to manipulate it so that it flies. The airship will follow us, and that'll expose its weak points. And then we build meter off of its defense mechanism, and we use that meter, this Vulcan mode, to kill it. This is the first of 2 times we'll probably see it. That's the airship boss. So, coming up next is, I believe it's the train, and then the final stage. So, this run is fairly fast-paced. This is my first marathon, so I'm trying to consider ways to actually run it without it being too brief. If I were to play other characters, it would be a little slower paced. Well, little is a bit of an understatement. But here is the armored train. We have to make sure that a few things go well for us. Those are the Muscle Brothers, who you see for about a second. All these enemies have names. It's just that Doris, they just die so quickly. You'll have guys in the background just basically throwing TNT at us. They're called flying soldiers. Thought you were a good point. You have metal riders and what the Japanese version calls buggy. They're just called buggy. So this is the first car. And what I want to do here is wait for the turret to try to shoot me, and then use the lasso to build me. And we'll do that for a bit till it hits about 75%. The lasso is something that goes underutilized. By using it, you can just absorb bullets per meter and basically make a hard game a lot easier, a lot more manageable. So that's about the amount of meter I want. We can go back to going ham. So all these instances of turrets, because they have such a great value and surface level, I can just immediately kill them with this cancel method. A fast time for this game used to be about 22, 23 minutes. But there was a task that was put up that showed a dash cancel that killed the boss and the first boss in 5 seconds. And I wanted to figure out how to do that. So sliding your thumb between firing and dashing allows you to do this rapid fire ability, and that's what lets Doris go so quickly through this game. Normally bosses where I would say Vulcan, like special ammo for, I just blow them up. Yeah, the animals would not survive this. So this boss is kind of annoying. I got the bad pattern. Sometimes he'll fly, sometimes he won't. In this case, he flies into the foreground, but no one escapes Doris for long. Ever. So we're coming up on the last stage, which is Kid's Base. Fun fact is that the color I'm using for Doris is based on Kula Diamond from King of Fighters, if you happen to like fighting games. So these are this is the last appearance of Metal Toms. Goodbye, Metal Toms. Here we can ignore what I have to take care of is not absorbing meter on accident, so I do have to let these guys shoot. But we can actually ignore picking up items, because the timer ends once the kid is destroyed. Goodbye, turret. Now, if all things go well with dash canceling, this game is 100% execution. But what happens if you mess up a dash cancel is you get the stomp of shame. So just illustrating that. And also Doris's mobility. So this is the last appearance of the Yojimbo, the bounty hunter. Fun fact is that if you let him survive long enough, he'll actually wave the bounty in front of your face. But he never really lives that long. But you might see it in other categories. Here we have the big gun, which will be the sub-boss. That's literally what it's called. Big gun. But here's basically the home stretch. And what we want to do is basically make sure that we don't get the Vulcan gauge activated. Which means I'll be letting some of these snipers live, but because we have such high mobility, it doesn't really matter. Bomb this segment here, one of the rare instances where Doris needs to use bombs. Big gun is gone. We're coming up on the last boss. It's Kid. And we need him to shoot at us, but I'm gonna freeze him for a safe strat in case he does that. There we go. Sometimes Kid won't fire at you, and it's the worst case of RNG possible. So I did a bit of a safe strat there. And then, that's time. There we go. 1918. Unfortunately, I just maxed out twice. Thank you, everyone. I didn't think it would go so fast, but because this is my first marathon, it's going to give me a good idea. I want to try to do some of this for various charity streams that you'll probably be seeing. But thank you all. I want to also give a special thanks to Junkyard Dave for recommending me to volunteer, as well as RGL for taking a chance on a sort of untested run. Stone Clive and Styrol for giving me the push to actually participate in marathons. I'm going to try to be streaming this game more on other categories other than Doris. But Doris is so entertaining. Just blow up everything. But I'm going to let these credits roll. And yeah, that's it.